So what happens when a massive empire starts to rot from the inside out? Well, sometimes the only way to find justice is with a little bit of fire, a little bit of rage. Today, we're going to see how our three heroes, after literally saving the state, get pushed to the absolute edge by the very system they fought to protect. All right, let's get right into it. We're picking up right after our three sworn brothers, Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei, have made a name for themselves fighting the Yellow Turban Rebellion. They put their lives on the line for the Han Dynasty, so you'd think they're about to get a big reward, right?
I mean, you'd expect a hero's welcome, wouldn't you? Parades, fancy titles, maybe a nice piece of land. Yeah, that is not what happened. Not even close. What they actually get tells you everything you need to know about how sick this empire really is.
This is it. This is their grand prize. Not a general's command, not a governorship, a magistrate position. In a tiny, forgettable county. After all that fighting, all that sacrifice, Liu Bei gets a small-time local government job. It's less of a reward and more of a total slap in the face.
But true to form, these guys make the best of it. They actually govern this little place with complete honesty and fairness. And their bond as brothers, it's tighter than ever. The text literally says they'd eat at the same table and sleep in the same bed. While Liu Bei was doing his official duties, Guan Yu and Zhang Fei would just stand guard next to him all day long. They created this tiny little bubble of justice in a world that was becoming more and more corrupt. Well, you knew that peace wasn't going to last. A new order comes down from the capital. It's called Shatai, which basically just means a purge. And guess who it's targeting? Any officials who got their jobs because of military service. Sound familiar? Yeah, this is aimed squarely at people exactly like Liu Bei. It's a political power grab, plain and simple.
And right on cue, a living, breathing piece of that corrupt system comes riding into town. An imperial inspector shows up. Officially, he's there to, inspect the local government. But everybody knows what he's really there for.
And Liu Bei, ever the good guy, does everything by the book. He rides out to the edge of the county to welcome the inspector. He's polite, he bows, he's trying to do the right thing. And how does the inspector respond to this respectful greeting? He doesn't even bother to get off his horse. He just sits there and points at Liu Bei with his riding whip. The arrogance is just off the charts. You can imagine Guan Yu and Zhang Fei standing there just watching this and absolutely fuming. And then it gets even worse. The inspector starts screaming at Liu Bei, accusing him of faking his family connections, of lying about his victories in the war. He has the nerve to call Liu Bei corrupt, the very kind of person this new purge is supposed to get rid of. The irony is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Now, Liu Bei, being Liu Bei, just stands there and takes the abuse. He has the patience of a saint. But his brothers? Not so much. For one of them in particular, patience has just completely run out. This whole situation is about to explode, and that explosion has a name, Zhang Fei. So this is the final straw. The brothers find out the real reason the inspector is being such a monster. He's trying to shake them down for a bribe. And for Zhang Fei, that's it. This isn't about politics anymore. This is an insult to his brother's honor. So he starts drinking, and the wine hits his anger like a lit match on gasoline. What happens next is one of the most iconic scenes in the entire story. This is the moment where all the rules and all the proper etiquette just get thrown right out the window and something much more direct takes its place.
Zhang Fei doesn't ask permission. He just acts. He storms into the inn, grabs the inspector by his hair, drags him outside and ties him to the public hitching post for the whole town to see. Then he rips a thick branch off a nearby willow tree and just starts whipping the guy over and over until the branch splinters and breaks. It's brutal, it's public, and it's a complete rejection of the inspector's authority.
Now this is what's really interesting. Liu Bei and Guan Yu arrive on the scene. You'd think they'd try to stop Zhang Fei, right? Nope. Guan Yu looks at this whole mess and sees an opportunity. He says, basically, brother, you're a phoenix. You don't belong in this thorny bush. Let's just finish this guy off, quit this stupid job, and go find the great destiny we were meant for. What a moment. And that's really the choice facing Liu Bei, isn't it? On one hand, he can stay in the system, play the game, keep his government salary, follow their corrupt rules. On the other hand, there's his brothers. There's their honor, and there's the chance to walk away and create their own kind of justice. Liu Bei makes his decision.
He walks over, takes his official seal, the very symbol of his position in the government, and hangs it around the beaten inspector's neck. It's the most incredible resignation you've ever seen. He chooses his brothers. He walks away from the system. And in that one instant, our heroes become fugitives.
Now, it's really tempting to just look at this as one story about a corrupt official who finally got what he deserved. But the book is telling us something much bigger. That inspector, he wasn't the disease. He was just a symptom.
The real sickness started at the very top. The entire imperial court was being run by a corrupt group of eunuchs called the 10 Attendants. These guys sold government jobs to the highest bidder. They were so powerful, the emperor himself called their leader Godfather. I mean, seriously, Godfather. That tells you everything you need to know about who was really running the show.
And that kind of corruption, it always leads to chaos. When the emperor finally dies, the whole court just explodes into a bloody power struggle. The eunuchs try to take over. The top general, He Jin, totally botches his response, even when guys like Cao Cao are telling him what to do. This power vacuum at the center is what allows the entire empire to just crack apart, creating the world of chaos our heroes are now on the run in. Which brings it all back to that choice, doesn't it? Zhang Fei's rage forced their hand. They had to decide, stay and fight a corrupt system from within or break away from it completely. And it leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. When the rules themselves are the problem, is breaking them the only honorable path forward?